Hello, superhero friends. I tried really hard this time to try to come live a little earlier, but the mask took long. So I'm just going to get set up. Let me just give us some tunes. So today, hi, Voice of One. How's it going? Hope things are well. Uh, we're actually going to visit some Spiderverse today. Let's see here. And if you're not familiar with who I'm cosplaying as today, I am Black Cat Felicia Hardy. So welcome to the live. Uh, I have the relaxing music of the PlayStation 1 playing. So let me just bring it down a bit. Da-na-na. Okay. Okay. Oh goodness. Oh, things have been crazy, my friends. I came back from Winnipeg on January 1st. I literally flew into Pearson like 10 minutes before New Year's Eve happened. And so, like, downtown Toronto, of course, is like this big cluster F of everything. And I had to deal with that. But and that's okay. But I was coming from Winnipeg. So I was born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Hey, Alexander Richards, how's it going? Happy 2025. Also, Voice of One. Oh my goodness. I did a lot of healing with my dad and my sister going home for the holidays. And oh, oh, you're 22. I feel like you're an old soul, perhaps, Alexander Richards. So, fun fact, you guys. So it's 2025. I have I have several large milestones this year. So, February 3rd is going to be myself and my hubby's 10-year wedding anniversary. We got married 10 years ago on the beaches of Cozumel, Mexico, because I have a really strong vibe with Mexico, especially Cozumel. We've gone to the Chichen Itza pyramids. We've gone to like a couple cenotes there. So I really love Mexico and the people there as well. Um, oh, oh yes, Alex. Healing is a huge thing, you guys. I can't. Can I say hi to Gabe Owners, please? Of course. Hi, Gabe Owners. Hopefully, I pronounced that name correctly. From Black Cat Felicia Hardy. My favorite. You know what? Slight tangent. So I'm getting my hubby to play Spider-Man, Peter Parker. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tracy Scopes. She does a lot of these like X-rated comic book stories, and so I'm gonna work with her on a couple of things, but that's not safe for TikTok. However, Black Cat is a fan favorite. She's gorgeous, isn't she? I wish she was done more in live action, so I made my own Black Cat costume because I love her so much. And what we're gonna read today, I hope TikTok doesn't like get mad at that. We'll see. Okay, so we're gonna read Edge of the Spider-Verse. And so some of my favorite thing about not my favorite thing about Spider-Man, but one of my favorite things about Spider-Man is that his girls are awesome. Like Mary Jane, she's like the ultimate girlfriend. I love Felicia Hardy, Black Cat. Who else is like, oh, Gwen Stacy, of course, and Spider Gwen. So all the chicas in the Spider-Man universe are pretty awesome. We are going to read, you can kind of see Black Cat here on the back. So today I have already read with you guys as Felicia Hardy. The I'll show you guys the panels because they're actually nicely drawn. Hey, Don Quixote. Oh, Quixote. Don Quixote. There you go. Got it. And thanks for the follows, guys. Okay, actually, let me I have to check out the Batman Elmer Fudd crossover. Oh my goodness. You always find out the most random things, PCJP. That's why I love you. It's dark. Oh, dark. Oh, oh, have you guys heard of I had dinner with my friend Aria, who you're gonna see a little bit more of, you guys. Oh, fun fact, you guys. My big goal in 2025 is I'm working on getting an AM radio station. Renegade radio, like so for like those long road trips, and because like, when the grid goes down, which it will happen, you guys. I've seen visions of this, and I'm going to get into my visions of like the future, which have been. So actually, let me go into my own healing, and then I'm going to get into the read. We're going to read some Spider-Man Noir, you guys. So did you guys know Nicolas Cage is going to play Spider-Man Noir in a movie coming up? Have you guys heard this? Or is this just like me making it up? I think my hubby found me that. Hold on, let me gonna put my microphone down, and I'm just going to adjust so I can hold the comic book. I'm in a new little location today because I'm trying to do a little reset up so that like my workflow is a little bit more streamlined and less like hectic. Like if you're a creator, you're like, oh my gosh, there's 5 million things I need to do. I need to focus on one thing at a time to do it. I can't see Nicholas as black. Well, I'll find you guys because he's the dark. Okay, I like Nicolas Cage, you guys. I have never heard, but Spiderman Noir sounds cool. Oh, that'd be kind of interesting. Ghost Rider can't. I thought that Nicolas Cage is a good Ghost Rider, only in the first one. Then he starts becoming too Nicolas Cage and less Ghost Rider, in my opinion. Okay, let me put it this way. You can see my little nook in the background. Okay, so that's nice. If Sir Francis doesn't make you'll get, you know what? You're like me. Like, when I was growing up, and I talked to my friend. Actually, I'll go back to what I was saying to my friend Aria about the healing I went through when I went. Actually, let me turn this down. I have the relaxing music of the PlayStation 1, 1994 to 2000. Okay. Personal story time, and then we're gonna get into Spider-Man Noir in the comic book read tonight, and I'm gonna hopefully do this story in such a way that it segues into why I'm doing the reading that I'm doing tonight for you guys, right? Okay. Horror guy, yes. Black Cat Felicia Hardy. Let me get on my gloves. So I made this cosplay myself. The mask took a little bit of a hot minute. I always I'm so cocky when I start my makeup, like, oh, this is gonna be easy. And I always look up my other cosplay girls, for tutorials and stuff. And I'm like, oh girl, this is easy. And I do it. I'm like, why is this taking me so long? But it's because it's the first time. And anytime you do a first, even when you draw, right? When you're drawing and sketching, dance, you need to warm up. You need to warm up first. When I used to do handstand workshops, you need to warm up your wrists and all that kind of stuff. So it's just one of those things. I like doing origami. You guys if you guys have heard of the story, the myth that if you fold 1,000 paper cranes, you get a wish. And I read this book when I was from what grade I was in, about in Japan. We did such awful things to Japan, Hiroshima, what the heck. So as a result of that, you had a lot of little girls or little children or people in general who had cancer who probably should have never had cancer. And because of this, she was in the hospital, and so she folded, paper cranes to wish that away. And I think there's a bit of truth to there. If maybe we have the power of the power of positive thinking, but not in this hokey, lame way. Please have a call-in segment so I can call in and say first time caller, long time listener. Oh my gosh, PCJP, that is happening. I'm working on it. So I am let me go into my story. Yes. PlayStation 1 because I still play it here. Oh, you have the original console, Sir Francis? That's dope. Dope. Do you have other consoles as well? I'm playing on Xbox Series X right now. Our Xbox was actually a gift from my sister because she worked for Microsoft for 3 months. That's how long she could do it. She's like, I can't work for the devil, Rachel. So she currently works for EA on the FIFA game. I love my sister. she's brilliant and smart and an Aries and like always thinks that she's right, and she is usually right. And but I do know how to get her to admit that she's wrong, but only with me. And she's only ever wrong like never most of the time. Where was I going with this? Video games. Video games mean a lot to me, and actually, that's a great segue into the story I wanted to tell you guys of like my personal healing over the holidays, and hopefully how it can help you as we go into 2025. Because I don't think 2024 was like no joke, you guys. It was really hard. I dealt with a lot of like fur baby stuff. Like we went to the vet with Wolfie today, my doggy, my familiar, and it was good because we have a really good vet right now, but we had a whole experience last year. My father-in-law has an elder dog, and I'm really fond of this dog just because when I first moved to Toronto, I kind of fractured my personality. So I tell my hubby this. I'm like a prairie princess, and I came out to the big city to like reinvent myself and pretend what it would be like to be like poor in the big city and have to like make it on my own, right? Because my dad was a professor at the University of Manitoba in computer science, and we never. I wouldn't say we were like well off, but it wasn't like I wanted for anything. And Winnipeg's very like low cost of living, so it's not like, but like my dad was very frugal, no debt, nothing like that. Everything paid for in cash, that kind of situation. My dad's like those like old professor. I'm like, are you a dragon, dad? Like you're just kind of like solitary. You like doing your research on like graphics and like math and stuff. So he did his master's in mathematics at the University of Illinois, and then did comp sci at the U of M. He met my mother in the Philippines because he was like pen pals with my auntie, and then like he went on a trip to the Philippines, met my mom, and then they got married there in like I don't know a couple of weeks because my mom was kind of like a babe back in the day. But the thing I had to heal, and I'm not going to get into like too much detail about it just because I'm not big about airing all like dirty laundry and gossip and all that stuff. So I'll give you the relevant context. But I realized I had a mother wound, right? So I wasn't getting from my mom what I was hoping to get in terms of like a bonding experience. So there was something that was happening where my mom was really jealous of the fact that like my dad really loved me so much, right? And me and my dad have a really special bond because like like he used to listen to like vinyls in the basement. So like I used to listen to like Elvis on vinyls, and this is why like music is really important to me. It's like a way of sharing your feelings. Like when you can't find the words, I'll find you a song that like kind of expresses how I mean, and I'll play it for you. And like me and my husband do that with each other all the time. Like it's hard to talk about stuff. So I was a really shy, awkward, weird little kid growing up. I blessed the fact that I went to a really small Catholic high school where I got to be friends with everybody. So everybody was friends with everybody else. When you had birthday parties, everybody was always invited. You didn't have this like, oh, you're not included or I wasn't invited. So thank goodness for that. It also gave me a way of having a safe haven out of like what felt like a prison of my home, because my dad is lovely and everything, but he's not like mushy. He's a guy. He's not gonna like hug you and stuff. He loved me, and I understood his love language. But my mom was like never. She was just really mean to me. And like and so I realize now, like being older, looking back on things, I can forgive all this stuff, but I can also you can choose not to have relationships in your life that hurt you, right? Even though like they're you're supposed to have them or whatever, right? Because you have bigger missions at play, right? And if people aren't going to help you in that, because what you're doing, like trust me, your dreams, they're usually aligned with the universe's wants and goals too, right? So you following those dreams is also serving the universe. And so to be aware, I was so in denial of the fact that someone I loved so much just didn't love me back in like, or she did, but like her way of showing love gave me a really messed up way of what it was, right? And it's only through finding my husband and him, loving me. And I told him this the other day. I'm like, babe, like, because you say you love me and I believe you, I finally love myself. And when I finally did that, it's like everything quantumly shifted and I understood all of it, right? It all just like makes sense. Like you have these aha moments and like, oh yeah, it all makes sense. But Morpheus said this in the Matrix, right? Like it's one thing to know the path, it's another thing to walk it. And so that's the thing, like walking the path. And that's why I love comic books so much, because through these fantastical stories, when I was going through a really hard time, like a torturous psychological hard time, I turned to comic books. I turned to like my Power Ranger shows, Sailor Moon, my animes, my all of my comic books. I turned to all of these heroes. And remember, all of these wonderful heroes, they get their magic from you. You give them power in your psyche, right? You bring them to life. So I made friends with the aspects of myself that are in these characters. And it's so crazy that through cosplay, I've like found myself again. And when I went back to Winnipeg, it's like I reintegrated the girl who just like picked up and like left after university and just like F the old me, I'm just gonna reinvent myself in the big city. But you are still that person, even though you've grown and changed and evolved. And there's something to be said about integrating the lessons of your past selves into like who you are like now. So all right. But here's the story. So Francis, this costume is so. Oh, thank you. And Astery. Oh, aw, thanks you guys. Read an origami book. Oh yeah, oh my gosh, horror guy. You know the story of a herd of a thousand cranes, and you get a wish from it, right? So maybe we can do that live, right? We can fold a thousand cranes together. I can show you how to fold a crane. It's super easy. I've been folding dragons lately, origami dragons, because you can just take the crane template and kind of like push it a little further, make a dragon. But maybe all together we can fold a thousand cranes and we can make some wishes if we want. Oh my gosh, my hair is getting in my mouth. Sorry, babes. Okay. What you're saying about that mentality is Silver Surfer with the X-Men show, melodic and smart. Ooh, I love Silver Surfer as a character, you guys. Like, also wonderful character. What is my sun? I'm a Taurus. I'm a Taurus. But the nature of my birth is crazy, right? Let me just check this. Okay, I don't know why. I hate the filter on TikTok right now. It keeps on catching and not catching. And I'm like, either stay or don't stay. I may have to stop and jump up again. Let's see here. What Hallmark movie script is this? Oh, Don Quixote. That's me divinating and coming through whatever's coming through the ether. I have Xbox. I don't play much Fortnite, but when I do, I play as Cable. Love that voice of one. You have Xbox though, so my gamer tag is Sailor Cosmos 351. If you guys, we should get. I'm trying to set up a Discord server because me and my sister our sisterly love language with each other is gaming. There's nothing. She's so funny when we game. Like my friend Arthie, she's like, you know what's funny about you and your sister when you game? Like your interaction. I'm like, yeah, because like our mother wasn't emotionally available, so me and my sister created a whole world with each other. Like we were very like us together is crazy, but like me coming back to myself in Winnipeg has also made me realize like this society is very sick. Like we all like when you have a creative process, right? Let's say like I'm working on my comic book and my RPG and like or whatever projects you have going on right now. You want to make a film or you're painting something. There's a process where like no one sees anything, and I was reminded of I had this psychedelic trip and we have like all of these tapestries. You can see behind me here. I have all of these tapestries all over my place. I love to surround myself with beautiful things. So when we take magic mushies, I remember I have this picture of a unicorn. It's a gift from my sister, a unicorn guarding this mandala. And the title of the painting is called Protector of Realms. Okay, so I did a trip once and basically saw like all of like when you draw something, you can see all. And let's say you're trying to draw something and you make a mistake. So you like erase the mistake and you go over it again, right? Um, Underneath all of like the final product are all the mistakes that have happened prior to it, even though you've erased and gone over it again. So the mistakes are all valid. Like you needed to make those mistakes so that you can do it properly, right? And then, try again and try again and try again. And I think that, yeah, that's basically like the lesson of that. And I'm not going to get into too much detail right now about the whole healing process, but other than to say that learning to love yourself truly and realize that like love is not like even taking Wolfie to the vet today. Me and my hubby were talking about like we were telling Wolfie, we're like, like loving you is so hard because like when you hurt, I hurt, and I just like and so I get it, like to love is a courageous act, right? To that's why like when you have children and you want to nurture them and you want to protect them from the world and you don't want them to go through like maybe all the crap that you had to go through or like heartbreak. I remember my first heartbreak too, like it was yesterday. But all of that, like some of us feel things, and I'm a Taurus, right? So I feel things through like my whole body, through like every single cell, and that's why music has been so healing for me. I've learned to also ask for help where I need help, and in the sense of like if I'm having a bad day or I'm in like this like negative thought loop space, I just need the right song to like snap me out of it and be like, okay, like what am I actually doing here? Like let me get out of this like funk that I'm in. It can be hard to do that, right? When you're dealing with crises, right? When you're dealing with like, I have to take my dog to the vet. I have to take my family member to the hospital. I have to go pick up this. I have to do that. But and I can't work on my soul mission because I'm busy, like, dealing with stuff. Trust me, it's tough, but there is time. Like, in spite of all of everything, lean into the help that's there that we don't realize is there. And we only have to ask, right? And be precise about what it is that you need. Because trust me, you will get a response back. Like I went back home in Winnipeg and I was like, how am I going to do this? And it came back and was like, you know what? Why don't you just try to get on the radio, Rachel? I was like, yeah. And so I did all this research. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have an AM radio station. So can you think about that? Like reading comic books aloud on AM radio, or rather just storytelling, right? Like um, you know, long road trips listening to stories, like nothing better than that. And some good tunes as well. Okay, guys, let's get into it. It's hard to show love when holding a chinilla. Sailor Moon. Watch it. The pink ribbon is my fave. Oh, hi, Mr. Top Ramen. Oh, and so nice that you guys are here. I'll be broker than the Californian mayor with 1,000 crane. You know what? Then how about you wish for infinite resources? We need to be precise with our wishes. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Wishmaster? The horror thing with that guy, and like it's just, you gotta be careful what you wish for. Like that story with that chick where she's like, I want to be beautiful forever, so he turns her into like a mannequin, like that kind of stuff. Norin Rad, thanks for the rose, PCJP. I'm Severed Cube 6960. I'm gonna screenshot this just so I can. Oh my gosh, can I? Oh my gosh, I'm like, I can't. Oh, this, got it, perfect. I will find you, voice of one. Let's play games, guys. And if you guys game, let me know. I want to have some fun. I'm trying to my big mission in 2025 is to have more gamer girls, like real gamer girls. I was telling my friend Pastel, she's like, I game, I play The Sims. I'm like, The Sims is not the same. You need to be able to know how to do first person shooter games and know how to navigate in time space. Because if you can do that on a psychic level, that's like the first step on doing anything in like 3D realm. Like even in working out, you have to conceptualize of anything before you do anything. So it's all like mental training, right? Let's see here. Ooh, servant. I like your little V for Vendetta mask. Oh, more roses. Hey, hey, thank you. Voice of One, love is the bridge between the heart and mind. Oh, 100%. Yes. And we shouldn't forget about, like, it's the three minds, right? Your brain, your heart, and your gut. And, like, I have learned to, like, trust my intuition a little bit more. And, like, the three I's as well, right? Imagination, intuition, and intelligence. And I was reading a book, I think I have it here. Is it Rudolf Steiner? Been reorganizing all my stuff. Theoscopy? Oh, yes. No. So this one. Knowledge of Higher World and Its Attainment by Rudolf Steiner. And I don't think it's this one. He also has a book on Atlantis that I was looking into for my book, but I'm not going to read this right now. It's a really heavy read. But it's all to say that regardless of what you choose to let into your, personal reality bubble, be aware of how important you are to the greater all of things, right? You are special. You do matter. It's not a weakness to love. It's in fact very courageous too, right? So let's see here. I can't do Taurus. They're too much. You know what though? So not all Tauruses are the same, right? Like my sister was telling me the other day, because she's single yet again, and she's like, Rachel, this last guy was a Gemini. No more Geminis, Rachel. No more Geminis. I'm like, okay, you can't pick Geminis all the same. I have a lot of friends who are Geminis, and my moon is in Gemini too, so I understand. Gemini can be a little crazy just because, like, I guess, like, my different cosplays are my Gemini playing out a healthy way, right? Because you have all these different personalities and aspects of self, and that's why people are like, oh, well, you're two-faced. Like, no, well, because I have work me, I have family me, I have, like, big sister me, I have this me, but they should all talk to each other, right? And not have this weird, like, well, that's not me at all. I don't know who did that crazy thing over there. But taking responsibility for everything that you've ever, like, that you do, like, not to, like, behave in this, like, weird, oh, that wasn't me at all, that was, like, my other self, I don't even know who that person is. But yeah, I'm a Taurus, but I was born 3 weeks late by, like, emergency C-section and all that kind of craziness. So I was supposed to be an Aries, but I was born the April 24th. Fun fact, my numerology number is actually 33. So it's 6, but it's 33. So I recommend you guys look into that, as well as, like, any of your gene keys kind of stuff, because know thyself. And then once you know thyself, to thine own self be true. Okay, without further ado, let's get into some comic book reading. So I'm not here till like 4 in the morning, because, like, I just get into it and then, Oh, Spando Ballet. True, that's a very child. Oh, you guys are cute. Oh, Trevor, thanks again for the gifts. You're very generous. You're very sweet. Thanks, Sir Francis. Appreciate it. I've been just trying to work and, like, organize all my stuff and my way of doing things, because I have a lot of Aries placements, and so Aries is very like, oh, I'll just fire and think about things later. I'll just do it and say it, and, like, I'll just do it myself. Even though perhaps you just need the right timing before you fire your rockets, right? I am Black Cat Felicia Hardy. I should next time I do my little cosplays have, like, a little picture of who I'm cosplaying as, like, hosted by Felicia Hardy. And we'll get into the read today. We're going to do some Spiderman Noir in just 2 shakes. Let's see here. Anonymous. Oh, yes, Anonymous. You're hip to the trip. I love that, Trevor Crow. Piercings. Yeah, I have quite a few. I used to have a Monroe. I used to have my belly button pierced, and then, like, I had, like, a really crazy piercing in my ear that was, like, through the cartilage. It was, like, craziness. This isn't a piercing. This is just me trying to add sparkle to my look. And thank you on the Fritz for the heart me. Let's see here. Chi Lady, thanks for the follow. I'm low-key Legion. Oh my god. Shh. I've had to deal with my own demons, right? I will say this too, growing up, my some of my favorite, like, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was, like, one of my favorite shows too as well. Buffy's awesome. And it's seen in the the show where like, Angel goes all evil and stuff because like they have sex, and then like he has like the happiest moment of his life, and then becomes like what do you call it? He becomes evil again, and he's like fighting her, and Buffy's like fighting him, and he's got the sword, and he's saying to her like, "Oh, no friends, no family, no hope. Who is there left, Buffy?" And she like grabs the sword, and she's like, "Me." And that's freaking good enough. So I got that Rachel back in me, and like, even though, you know I played the big city game, did the corporate world, did all that kind of stuff, and I kept my heart, my soul, and my integrity intact. So I'm ready to kind of like the next stage of what I'm meant to do here. So here we go. Lots of love from Kenya. Notification. I am half South African. I visited South Africa in 2016. It was after I got married, and it was cool. It was cool. I got to all these ladies wanted to take pictures with me in front of Nelson Mandela's house in Soweto. I do know my star chart. I do know my star chart. So I recommend people look at where all of their planets sit. Like, for example, my Mercury and Aries. I feel comfortable telling you guys this secret because, like, to know thyself is also like know thy enemy, right? As well. So just be aware of like who you let in on like your own secret star intel. It's very important. Just say protect yourself. Where's I going with this? I forget. But anyways, let's get into the reading. Okay. You don't see anything. I've been on a this outfit I modded from a fitness routine outfit that I did when I competed in fitness back in the day before I retired. But let's get into it. Okay, so we're gonna go. It's gonna be a super long reading, you guys. We're gonna do some Spider-Man Noir. I don't know if you're familiar with Spider-Man Noir. Um, Hollywood, yeah, just implied sexiness. Sometimes some of the things they use that, like, I even see on YouTube sometimes, I'm just like, how is that allowed? But then you get mad at me for other things, right? Like, what the hell? Okay, so if you aren't familiar with the Spiderverse, we have this concept of like different Spider-Man, including this T-Rex Spider-Man. By the way, I love dinosaurs. Side note, right? So Black Cat is in this as well. So I'm going to show you who I'm cosplaying as, because typically on this show, right, I am cosplaying as a character within the comic book as a way to show you guys that we are in a grand comic book. Somewhere out there is reading about this right now. So we have Miss Black Cat. This is what I read last time as Black Cat. It's a version of because I'm not as familiar. I wonder if you guys are in how Marvel maps its multiverse. But I know the home multiverse is like Earth 616. So this is Earth. She's the Night Spider in this because it's Felicia Hardy in this case who gets bitten by the spider. And so she's like the Spider-Man of this universe. So that's kind of like the Spider-Verse. It is super confusing. I know. There's got to be a way to map it. I'm going to try to have like a chart and like see what we can do. There's a few people like nerds unite, right? There's always someone who's figured out something. So it's a matter of just all of us coming together and putting it together. Oh, thanks, James. Oh, yes. Okay. So that's not what I'm reading you guys today. I just wanted to give you guys some background as to why I'm cosplaying, like who I am. Everyone Spider pointing at each other. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So we are going to do noir. We're going to jump right into it. And I love it because the noir has such a different, you know what, maybe I'll read the Spider-Man, the dinosaur one first, because it's pretty short. Yeah, let's do this with the dinosaur one first, and then we'll get into the noir, because it's pretty short. Aw, thanks, Voice of One. Love you guys. And so this is also an ode to my teachers growing up who did such great jobs. Like, reading out loud in class and like just using voices, intonation. It is an art. So, and my dad too, like from the time I was like 2 before bed, he would read me a book before bed, and that book would go into my bookshelf. And by the time I was like old enough to read for myself, my bookshelf was full of books of stories. So stories are like currency, right? So knowing more stories are ways of us like reconceptualizing the truth of how we are dealing with our reality, right? So, all right, here we go. So Earth 66, 66. Long, long, long ago. I'm going to kill you. Oh, Peter Parker, but it's spelled this way. I'm going to kill you, Peter Parker. Gah! Asteroid. A little longer ago. Get the weakling. Yeah, get him, boss. Leave me alone. What is that? Norana Saramar? What? I don't know what that is. It's like the Spider-Man of dinosaurs. So let's give them dinosaur names. Ah, what the heck? Toom. And then less long ago, Peter, did you want some of my famous berry Oh my. Uncle Ben? Aunt May? What the? Did I wake up as? Yup. You make it look good, boss. Yeah, yeah. And then back to the long time ago, going to kill. You infected me with your weakling blood, Parker. I didn't do anything to you, Tyrannosaura. Ah, you're the one who bit me. Oh, yes. Then, that spy rock with all the glowy spiders in it hit us. Don't know what happened after that. But fine, you want to blame the weakling for what happened? Slam. Then you're about to find out what weaklings are really capable of. And then, so basically, we have, look at this. Look how cute he looks. I love Toronto. You know what? Growing up, I loved dinosaurs, you guys. So, like, I was super nerdy. We went to, like, the Badlands. I got to go see fossils when I was a kid. So, like, you have basically, like, Peter Parker, T-Rex, Spider-Man. Oh, thank you, Jedi. Thanks for that. Appreciate that. Heart me from you, Jedi. This is the edge of the Spiderverse. So I'm not reading you the whole thing tonight. I'm actually just reading you Spiderman Noir. I also wanted to flag to you guys the fact that Nicolas Cage is going to be playing Spiderman Noir, I think, in the newest Spider-Man movie. And before we end this chat tonight, guys, I'm going to give you guys like a little story about one of the Spider-Man Noir comic books I'm trying to source, which is not this one, but we'll get a little taste of what the story's like. T-Rex's Spidey webs. Thank you, Marvel, for this. I know, PCJP, every little kid's dream. Like, why would a T-Rex need spider webs? I guess, and it's like with his tiny little. You know what, though? That would be a way of evening out a T-Rex's power, right? The fact that you could just, oh, Trevor, you're very sweet. He's too old to play Spider-Man. Oh my gosh, I need to uncensor that comment. Is it because he's a dinosaur? He's too old to play Spider-Man. And I wanted to read out, PCJP, what you were saying about I got my fave spot on the carpet in the reading circle. Yes, I want you guys to imagine you're like 8 years old, you're in your favorite teacher's class, and we're reading comic books together. And you have a hot teacher, and she decided to cosplay that day, and they weren't going to call your parents and tell you that, like, no, these contacts actually don't hurt. It's funny because when I actually have bad vision as a result of reading books in really low light way past my bedtime. So when I got glasses, it was like awful for me. I was like, oh my gosh, my social life. No one cared. But like later on when I got contact lenses, I learned that, like, through every hardship there's always like a silver lining, right? So I've learned to love the fact that, like, I can use the fact that I'm blind and the contact lenses I have to use anyways to like help me see, to like have fun with it, right? Yeah, who's anti-dinosaurs? Sir Francis. I need some mods. You know, if you guys are interested in being a mod too, please let me know. I need some mods. And even better if you're a cosplayer too, because you know, I could have you on as like my little like guest. Like if you were Spider-Man, I'd bring you on here to help. um my eyes are closed. I could feel my oh you that's very sweet, you guys. I will say this though, I do have a strong connection to the other side. Um I I won't get into that right now. But I will say that I do have messages for people. I also got a message to create a sacred grove in the backyard of my dad's house, like to have a tree for every like being that has ever like touched my heart and I've like lost. Not lost. I shouldn't. I'm gonna reframe that a little bit more, but more to come. Oh, hey Jason, how's it going? I'm reading Spiderverse, so we're just gonna finish off our T-Rex Spider-Man adventure, and then we'll get into Spiderman Noir. Okay. Okay. So you can see, I love this little flip. How cute does he look? I'm gonna drawing him. Spider-Man dinosaur. Okay. Heck yeah! Oh my gosh, still Peter Parker. I'll give you this much. At least your little flunkies certainly stick around. Oh, question for you guys. If you were a dinosaur, what dinosaur would you be in this world? I would be a raptor because I like being like in like a little pack, you know, like little velociraptors. So, I actually also like those dinosaurs that I could have the really long necks, the brontosauruses. I don't know why, but I think I like just like the concept of like all you do all day is kind of like eat. I read the Clone Saga as a kid. Very cool, Adam. I like all of those stories are very epic. I love all of Star Wars. You guys know like the song I picked in the DJ set was like the Star Wars disco set because I love like that's a separate thing for us to talk about. Could you mod voice of one? Yes, yes. We can make it fun too, I think. Uh let's see here. Pterodactyl. I know that I'd want to be a brontosaurus. It's because of my Taurus, you know? A brontosaurus velociraptor mix. um, pterodactyl is a good one, Trevor. Let's see here. Pterodactyl. Oh, you guys are big flyers. You guys wanna like to fly? Yeah. Um, I love that. That's like you know what? I was talking to my hubby about like you know like the meanings in songs, right? And I love the song "Crazy" by Seal, and there's a lyric in there that you know sticks out to me, right? Like in a world full of people, only some want to fly. Isn't that crazy? And like Kevin's like, well, I know what you mean by that, right? Like, because I've always wanted to fly, and I was like, I'll figure it out. It's gotta be a way. But he's like, but most chicks these days, babe, they're gonna be like, oh, flying and let my 747 jet to go to some vacation I can't afford. I'm like, oh, really? Like no way. But I to me like that's what resonates for me, and I think that's why all of us are individuals, right? We're all going to listen to different things, different pieces of art, and we're going to resonate with it in our own unique way, our own unique lens. And your way of interpreting it is important. I hope you guys realize. So take this as an opportunity to like a message from the universe to journal more, write things down more, give notes to yourself so that you can come back to it later when it like makes more sense, right? And then you're not like, what the heck was that dream that was so clear? And now I knew it was going to tell me what the future was going to be like. And now, what the heck? But you're no more unique. Yeah, yeah, I love it. The Shuvia, the Shuvaya. I hope I'm saying that right. All right, let's keep going, my friends. I gotta get to Spider-Man Noir. Okay. Happily losers. So this guy's like, hey, leave them alone. And he's like webbing them. Happily losers. This isn't over, Parker. Even with a body like mine, you're still a friendless, orphaned runt. Actually, Norinda Sorianen, I don't know if I was saying that right. I don't think this body is anything like yours. I'm stronger than you now, and no more wimpy little Peter Parker to push around. But you're a T-Rex, Peter. Like, no one should be pushing you around regardless. Okay, this is amazing. I'm amazing. I can't wait to get back to the nest and tell Aunt May that I'm the king of the dinosaurs. I'm Spider Rex. Ah, watch out. Ah, that hurts so much. What's the big idea? I used to be king. Oh no, there were innocent dino standers below us. This is all my fault. I'll never be so reckless again. And that was the day the amazing Spider Rex learned with gra power, there also must come gra responsibility. And then you see this chickie being like, what the bleep did I just see? Yes, and so here we go. This is Spider-Man Noir. Look how cool he looks, like Dick Tracy. It's kind of like Indiana Jones Spider-Man. So, Nicolas Cage is supposed to play this guy, but I guess he's gonna be like grizzled old Spider-Man Noir. I'm gonna tell you the storyline I know about Spider-Man Noir, but I don't have the comic book for it just yet. But we'll go into this read right now. So let's go. Hey, Scarlet Spider, you came just in time. Okay. All right. I feel it falling over me. The fear. A passage plays in my mind. There is fear hanging in the air of the sleeping halls and the air of the streets. Fear walks through the city. Fear without name, without shape. All men feel it, and none dare speak. And so you can see it's all like noir, and like Spidey's walking in, and it looks like there's a crash. He's got like, it looks like there's like a gunshot wound to him. So there's a lot, like that's the thing about comic books. I was telling my hubby about this. Like, you know, in books, they're describing the setting, the scene. In comic books, it's like, here, let me show you. And it's mainly the dialogue, right? Oh, Jason, yeah, I will let him know. I will let him know. Definitely. We need an upgrade for sure. That's definitely a beginner DJ stuff. And he's been doing it for a few years now. So time to upgrade, guys. Level up. But yeah, very sweet, Jason. Thanks for that. Okay. So now we have the introduction scene to Spider-Man Noir swinging onto the scene. I'll try to do it. What? I'm here. We've got entering the Spiderverse. So Scarlet Spider, I suppose you're in this comic book too. And hey, Pikachu, I saw you sneak in there. How's it going? Okay. I don't know how much time I have left, so I'm going to say this straight out. I am the Spider-Man. My God, I've been yearning to tell you, but how could I tell you the crazy things going on in my head? How could I tell you I've been playing pretend, putting my pants on one leg at a time like everybody else, except I am not like everybody else. These are my spice eyes, you guys. So I wear different eyes depending on the cosplay that I'm doing. So the character that I'm trying to bring to life is dependent on, you know, which eyes I get to see through at the time. I do have some new ones coming through, you guys. So stay tuned for that. Like, for example, Jean Grey is supposed to have green eyes. All my redheaded chickies are supposed to have green eyes, usually. I think Noir series will be on Prime and MGM if production greenlit. Yeah, Adam. I saw pictures. I'll find them for you guys in like my little replay of this of Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir. And I wonder what storyline they're going to do too, right? Because you know, there's so many comic books, so many stories. This Spider-Man would totally beat Batman. Oh yeah, it's like Indiana Jones Spider-Man. Right? Like Temple of Doom, Spider-Man, that kind of thing. I'm feeling it. I'm in Oakville. Nice, nice. I have a friend who lives in Oakville, actually. I call her my she's such a princess, but she's like more badass than she lets on. So, you know, as I said, I'm a great matchmaker, you guys. Okay, look at all this. This is like very old school noir, Sin City-esque kind of look too. And it's cool because this is an anthology of comic books. So each story is self-contained in the Spiderverse with its own like flavor of how the story is being told, right? Peace sign for tribute. Oh, how do I say your name? Let me try to. Oh no. Oh no, I didn't. There we go. I got it. Peace. All right. Peace, love, and harmony to all, friends. Okay. So Spider-Man Noir is like, we're in his head, his inner monologue. So he's like, I'm crazy. It's interesting too because I find Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse does break the fourth wall. He's like addressing us. Like, am I just talking to myself? Or am I talking to you, dear reader? Oh, thanks, the real tech geek. I appreciate you guys knowing who I am too, Miss Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat. She's kind of like one of the few villains that I cosplay as, right? And but she's not always a villain, right? And that's the beauty of like stories where like, you know, bad, good, villain, hero. It just depends on where you're standing. Okay, there are times I feel like something outside the human race, a cold observer of the sins and sorrows of the masses, that whatever action I take is simply the impartial judgment of nature, like an insect plague sent by a god. Ooh, the writing on this. I sound like a Looney Tune, don't I? I've made so many mistakes, I don't know where to begin. I guess I should tell you how I got into this whole mess. That fateful day, that fateful day, I didn't have a client to bring me their troubles, and so I went looking for some. So I guess just to like ground ourselves in this, because we're jumping right into the story, I think that Peter Parker in this is like private investigator Peter Parker. So he's saying like he had no client to bring him trouble. So he's like, no, I'm just going to go out and look for trouble because that's what I do. So that fateful day, I didn't have a client to bring me their troubles. And so I went looking for some. And my darling dearest, did I find trouble, although I didn't know what direction it was coming from. The poor woman was out in the rain, barefoot in her nightgown. So a couple of lousy mugs thought that it meant an open invitation. I only took out one of those jokers because it turned out the lady could take care of herself. Bit the other guy's ear clean off. Well, I guess he had it coming. So this chica pulled a Mike Tyson on the guy, right? Pulling off the ear. Ear clean off. And it's cool too. It's very Sin City too, right? The red is colored, but everything else is black and white. You know, the Mike Tyson ear biting thing? I don't know, right? Ha ha ha. Joke-ish. I hope that landed. Might be too old for some of you guys, maybe. Hey Eric, you're an ear cookie. Ooh, I know all about that. So I'm guessing like that's what I was trying to make it a funny about this chick doing the Mike Tyson to her assailant. Okay. So I only took out one of those jokers because it turned out the lady could take care of herself. She bit the other guy's ear clean off. But I guess he had it coming. And it's very Chicago. He had it coming. He had it coming. He had it coming. So I killed him and all this other stuff. The Sin City movie type. Yeah, I would like that. I loved Sin City, by the way. Jessica Alba in Sin City. I did that as a Halloween costume one time. Those chaps, the lasso, right? The tribute was for Jordan. He says thank you for the peace sign. Oh, thank you. Ax, tonight I'm only gonna read as far as this story takes us. So I always tell hubby, I'm like, I'll be an hour. And he's like, 2.5 hours later. I'm like, what? That's how long it took for the story to be told. I don't know how long it's supposed to take. You tell me, guys. The ones who went through it got the joke. Oh, good, good. PCJ. Okay. She couldn't remember who she was or where she was or where she came from, so she's got amnesia. I took her to Aunt May, who's a sucker for hard luck cases. Yeah, you always need an Aunt May, right? Oh, thanks, Trevor. Oh, X, yeah, for sure. I'm gonna have replays of this much more organized, you guys. So even if you do miss the story, that I have it self-contained, so that if you're meant to get that story, you're gonna get it. Where are we? It was a hell of a juggling act to keep her from realizing that her good Samaritan and Peter Parker, oh, that her good Samaritan and Peter Parker were the same guy. Well, ultimately, he went to go do a selfless thing. He brought the girl to Aunt May, but didn't let Aunt May know that it was Peter Parker dropping the girl off. Gotta keep your superhero self secret, right? It's to protect the ones you love. It's a necessary thing. You might not understand, but too many people have been hurt because of me. I guess I thought I'd be safer if the people I loved didn't know about my other life. See, it's exactly as I said. If you're trying to protect the people that you love by keeping the whole like crime fighting, more dangerous parts of yourself separate, right? I sleep with a mouth guard. Oh yes, yeah. We depends on what you're doing in dreamland, right? If you're out doing stuff in the astral plane, you're going to react on a nervous level on this level. More about that later. And hey, garlic daddy, me too. I also love bedtime stories, and I also love telling bedtime stories. Okay, so Aunt May is now taking care of this chica who pulled the Mike Tyson thing because she's a sucker for hard luck cases. Me too. You might not understand, but too many people have been hurt because of me. I guess I thought it's safer if the people I loved didn't know about my other life. Fair enough. And then you see them in the car here. I love the old cars like that. Love it. Will you be my lovey, honey, loving man? I don't know what the song is, but that's the tune. I thought it'd be cool to take our mystery woman around town to help jog her memory because she's got amnesia, right? So I turned on the radio and she sang along to Will You Be My Lovey Dovey by Sharon Lynn. Not a bad name, Sharon. I like the name Sharon too. Hey Mikey, how's it going? Hope you're having a good night. Welcome to the live. And I just found out I don't mind bedtime stories at 25. You're never too old for bedtime stories, friends. Um, I recommend you guys watch the movie Tolkien if you're a fan of Lord of the Rings. It's about it has Nicholas Hoult in it, you know, the new Beast in X-Men, and he plays Tolkien, right? And it's about like all the inspiration behind like the Lord of the Rings, and in it, there's a scene where his lady love is asking him to like, you know, tell her a story about this word because Tolkien was a big linguist, right? So he made like, all the languages of the elves, all that kind of stuff. And so, but in creating meanings, right? Like what are words but just symbols of things? And we should have a bit more forgiveness perhaps with each other in terms of like what we mean by things. And that's why we like entrench things, and that's why I like comic books so much. You can entrench things with like symbolism and imagery so that you can be more precise and clear when you're speaking about stuff about like like that's in the ineffable, right? It's like it's magical, right? How are we supposed to talk about it like in this like 3D space? But we must try. Like that's the whole joy of life. Tolkien. Yeah, yes. It I'm also missing out on what I actually wanted to tell you about that movie, but I do recommend you guys watch it. It's good. It's a good movie because it talks about how like, you know, real life inspires those stories, right? Like him and his friends had to go to war, and so he related that to like the hobbits going on this like quest to Mordor. And in all of our lives, we have our own quests to Mordor, right? And you know, the Ring of Power. What do we do when we wield power? How are we able to like harness the power in ourselves? Are we gonna like just run away from it and not step into, you know, our greater purpose? Because it can be hard, right? It's very difficult. It's like no joke, but we're being called for to do that, and it's tough. And you know, like you can find courage and you can find inspiration from those stories that powered you as a kid when you're like a badass at like 15 and you thought like you could do whatever the heck you wanted and the world would just bend to your will. I don't know, that's what I thought. And then I got dealt a hard reality check and then come back around and realize, but we shouldn't lose that spark and that gumption and that drive to like make things better and like strive for change, right? So thanks guys. So I hope you guys get some like some gumption and all of like, because this is the year 2025 where we're gonna see some miracles happen. Trust me. I don't know what it looks like. We haven't seen it yet before, right? But it's gonna happen like that. Thanks for that. Oh, good. Okay. Where are we, friends? She had a wonderful singing voice, beautiful, but somehow strange and otherworldly. I took her to the Black Cat Club. Oh my gosh, she's going to the Black Cat Club. Oh, I love that. I took her to the Black Cat Club where my old pal Gabe Jones was playing trumpet. I love this whole old school, old Hollywood glam and stuff, right? I love Marilyn Monroe. Quick tangent side note about why I love Marilyn Monroe so much. I was talking to my friend about this. She's like, because the way I do astro, I like using examples of figures that have come before, like characters that have come before, and like look at their charts as a way of like, you know, explaining the language of the stars, right? So Marilyn was born Norma Jean. She created Marilyn Monroe. And her mother growing up was actually schizophrenic, and due to this was very abusive to Marilyn. Like literally did such like awful stuff. I don't even think I can say it on TikTok, but when I was reading this story about Marilyn, like I felt that story because I felt what it was like to like, you know, be in a position where you're weak, you're helpless, you're broken, you're not in a position to like defend yourself, and yet you're still being hurt, and there's no one there to help you. And so it's why I love the gym so much. Like I went and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make myself so strong that like no one's ever gonna hurt me again, and I'm gonna protect those around me who can't help themselves, and I'm gonna make sure that no one can hurt them either. So yeah, that it was actually a quick name. Okay, guys, let's keep going. I took her to the Black Cat Club where my old pal Gabe Jones was playing trumpet. Sharon grabbed the lyrics for a number Sharon grabbed, so he's just calling her Sharon. She doesn't know her name. She just heard a song and she named herself Sharon, or he named her Sharon. Sharon grabbed the lyrics for a number he was doing, went on stage and started singing. The crowd started eating it up. My destiny is to be in love with you. Do 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 do. Makes no difference what you say or do. I'ma stay in love with you. Okay, let me put here. So we've got basically Chicky, Sharon. So this girl, she was like basically attacked by some assailant. Peter Parker saved her, but she doesn't remember anything. So dropped her off with Aunt May, who loves, you know, broken birds and is like nursing her back to health. So like Peter is now taking her out on the town to maybe jog her memory and stuff. So they're at this club and someone started playing the trumpet and like it's like the music jogged her memory, right? So it's just like something about this song. I don't remember my name, but I remember the lyrics to this song, right? That kind of thing. I didn't want to admit it to myself, but I was falling for Sharon. You and I were getting serious around this time, Mary Jane, So Peter Parker's talking to Mary Jane. So, you and I were getting serious around this time, Mary Jane, and the world was in turmoil, yet you remained so optimistic about our future. I didn't want to hurt you, and I was too stupid to see what was right in front of me. Oh no, is this Sharon going to be like someone not good for you, Peter? We'll see. You know, Peter, I'm quite fond of spiders. I know who you are. I know your secret. Sharon may not have remembered who she was, but she understood things about me I didn't know about myself. She knew about cold, morally blind instinct. We've been all over this neighborhood. There must be something you remember. Yes, there is something. I have a daughter. I know it in my soul. She's alone, Peter. She could be in horrible danger without me. You have to help me find her. I know you're only trying to help. This is Aunt May talking here, right? And so she's giving Peter some like motherly advice. And I feel like Peter's thinking with his dick a little bit here. The other head, Peter? Come on now. Because he's saying here, she's telling him, like, I have a daughter. I know in my soul, even though I don't remember anything else. And then Aunt May says, I know you're only trying to help, but something doesn't feel right about Sharon. And Peter says back, well, she's just shook up, Aunt May. Actually, we made real progress. She remembered her daughter. She was upset knowing her daughter is out there, somewhere, without her. I don't know. Really? How do you know for sure she's a daughter? I'll go say goodnight. Let her know things will be okay. Oh, Peter, you're being sweet. This is why Felicia also loves you. Okay, so save the woman. Oh my gosh, there's some symbolism. This is such a different read in terms of Spider-Man. Eh? It's like so much darker. Let's see here. Cage. Cage wants live action of this bad. His big, yeah. So I saw some, Wolveraza, I saw some images of Nicolas Cage in Spiderman Noir. And I think that movie is supposed to happen, but I don't know what story they're going to do. So we shall see with bated breath. Okay. Aunt May, do you know where Peter is? We're going to be late for the Wizard of Oz. Peter! And he's like making out with another girl. I think this is Mary Jane right here, our beautiful redhead. Please, Mary Jane, please. We've already been through so much. It never should have happened in the first place. It was my lowest moment. Everything I'd accomplished felt meaningless, like I just dumped it all over the trash. And now we got Spidey Noir back. I like the outfit, you know? I like it. The Indiana Jones Spidey meld, right? Because like I'm half South African and like Filipino, right? It's like I like the whole remixes, fusions, mashups. Okay. And it wasn't just Sharon. I'd been lying to you this whole time, never really telling you who I was. How did you get up here? And who are you, anyway? I know where my daughter is. Please come with me. I'm afraid to go by myself. Peter? And then on the mirror, there's I wish I didn't mirror this. Let me see if I can try to. Ghost Rider kind of labeled his version of superhero smidge over the top. That's Cage though. So Wolveraza, I do feel like Ghost Rider, like the first movie Ghost Rider, was good. But then like the second Ghost Rider, it's almost like Nick Cage like let too much of like Nick Cage bleed through, and then like Johnny became all like Nick Cagey, which I love, but then it becomes less the character and more Nick Cage, right? Okay, where are we? Love like mine can never die is scrawled with like red lipstick on the mirror. So Mary Jane's like, what the heck? I don't know. I don't trust this bitch. Okay, she took me to an old derelict hotel, the Liberty Suites. It looked like the kind of place Low Cheney, what says here, Lon Chaney might book a room 100 years ago. I don't get that reference. Oh my goodness. Thanks, Fantasy Crow. Have a great night. I will catch you next time on the live. This is a painted mask. Yes, Scotch. Yes. And there's a whole act of like painting your face, like, putting on war paint, putting on your persona, that kind of situation. Thank you. Appreciate it. Where are we? All right, so this gothic hotel, the Liberty Suites. She's in a penthouse suite. I can see a number, room 53. It could be dangerous. Please be careful, Peter. Thanks for the rose, Trevor. This situation had paralyzed me with fear. It wasn't like me. It didn't make any sense. It took everything I had to go down that dark hallway. A faint sound came into focus as I got closer. And then the song that was playing when Chicky was in the car with him, I'm not going to sing it again. Oh, thanks for the paper crane, Adam. Going towards making the wishes come true. Appreciate it. And Trevor Crow, thanks for the rose again. My destiny, it's a thing you don't or can't control. Do 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 do. The room was dark and empty. The only sign of life was the crackling of the phonograph. They say nothing is sure, even when the sea runs dry. They're wrong, the one thing is sure, love like mine can never die. So we have the record playing. She's here, Peter, she's here. And then he rushes through. Ew. Oh my gosh. Ew. This is what you see. Her daughter? What the heck? Is this like The Fly? Like Jeff Goldblum? Ew. Oh my gosh. What's happening? That's a twist. Plot twist. And then you now see she's a demon. Of course. She bewitched him. Look, see? All like crazy looking. And then I woke up and she was gone. I felt an intolerable combination of suffocation and nausea. But worst of all, my brain was rushing from room to room in a carnival madhouse. My mind is going somewhere, and I don't want to reach the destination. You can see him like crumpling. So I don't know what happened. Like she must have like bit him, some sort of like poison, toxin, some sort of, I don't know what that is. It's gross though. A wasp? Maybe it's a wasp. It's gross. Look at it. It's like a demon creature. Like, ooh. Be aware of like women like that. You never should have cheated on Mary Jane, Peter. Not with that bitch. Ugh, disgusting. Okay. I woke up and she was gone. I felt an intolerable combination of suffocation and nausea. But worst of all, my brain was rushing from room to room in a carnival madhouse. My mind is going somewhere, and I don't want to reach the destination. And so you can see here, he's in his office looking all like distraught. And outside his office, Peter Parker, private investigator. Peter, it's Mary Jane. Peter, are you there? Peter, I'm not afraid anymore. The end. What the hell happened? Okay, well, that was crazy. What a trippy read. And so different than any of the other reads in the Spiderverse, right? So that was a snippet of The Edge of the Spiderverse, which is basically Uh, let me see here. I don't know if there's like a synopsis. It's basically just like all the different Spider-Verses, but there's like an anthology, and I was playing as Black Cat, right? I read this one last time, but this time we did some Spider-Man Noir because um Nicolas Cage is supposed to be in that live action. I don't know what storyline they're doing, but I have a fun story I know about Spider-Man Noir in regards to the White Hot Room and Dark Phoenix, right? And so this is a beautiful segue into tomorrow's cosplay and tomorrow's storytelling and all that kind of fun stuff. So, Spider-Man Noir, there's apparently an issue or a storyline where, because he's like Indiana Jones, he goes like on these like treks and adventures. So he goes and he finds the temple of Inanna. And Inanna's equivalency in goddess energy is like Ishtar, Venus, Aphrodite, goddesses of love and beauty, that kind of situation. So in the temple of Inanna, Spider-Man Noir finds the macabre crystal. And if you guys are around for my Jean Grey reading, they were in the white hot room, which is the space that exists beyond time space. And the white hot room is said to be located within the macabre crystal. I'm not even sure if I'm saying the name of that crystal right, but hopefully you know what I mean. So that's in the Spider-Man Noir comic book. So it's like an interesting way of how like these different multiverses converge on each other and are related to each other. I'm not as well versed in Marvel as I have been with DC and Crisis on Infinite Earths and like working through all that kind of stuff, but they're all still relevant, right? Like any kind of story out there that has meaning for you has meaning and resonance for you for a reason, right? So um, I hope you guys will join me tomorrow. I'm going to be doing Dark Phoenix. We're going to be reading some X-Men. Wait, Avengers versus X-Men. That's what we're reading because they're also dealing with the Phoenix in that as well. And I love the concept of the Phoenix Force and dealing with a lot more of those like cosmic entities when it comes to storytelling because that's really what comic books do well, in my opinion, right? You're able to show in illustration and storytelling these like cosmological and mystical and magical themes, and we are living in an astrologically magical time right now. Even though sometimes right now it feels really heavy and you can't feel it, but we do have a full moon coming up. I can actually see the moon outside. Right, maybe I can show you guys because I am Black Cat, right? So, also what I did in Winnipeg when I visited was that we had a final ceremony for my own little kitty familiar that I had in Winnipeg. My little kitty Oreo, he died at 19 years old, and he died 1 year ago, um, like just before solstice of 2023. And so my dad, he was like my dad's little buddy, you know. He was such a crazy cat, dude. He'd like jump up into like the baseboards of like the basement and do crazy things. But he's kind of like a dog, but like you're the animals that you get to take care of teach you so much about yourself. You know, like the animal teachers in our lives who like teach you when to be gentle, when to have patience, when to like put your needs aside for those weaker than yourself, right? So all of those lessons came from like being like a fur baby mama, and you know, like that's why I'm also honoring Black Cat tonight. Thanks you guys. Yeah. So rest in power, Oreo. Um, there's a myth that the goddess Freya, and I love the goddess Freya. I should do some storytelling on her because I love Norse myth. Like my sister, um, she plays Baldur's Gate. She's been trying to get me to play Baldur's Gate, but I haven't played RPG like straight on RPG like Diablo or I forget the other one that I used to play. I haven't played straight on RPG like that in a long time. I played like Borderlands, which is like RPG ish, and like Halo, of course, because I love Halo, obsessed, right? But like first person shooters, even Arkham Knight, I'm playing right now, but it's a different thing when you're doing like turn based RPG. But Baldur's Gate is set in the Forgotten Realms universe, which is Dungeons and Dragons, right? But RPG, the game mechanics of all that kind of stuff, I have been doing a lot of work in infusing that with astrology. Because if we think about this as being like a cosmic game of life, and Earth is like a setting, and you came into this, like before you like were born, you were like, I'm an infinite powerful being. I feel like coming into this world and playing the game as Rachel Z, as like this and these challenges and these experiences, so I can inform the greater universe about what it's like for that to be the case. And you're gonna have these other beings that are kind of like you, and that, and so, um, where was I going with this? Yeah, so if we think about that and video games, when you're like entering a game and you're like, okay, choose your character, right? And you know how long it takes for me to choose a character? So long, and for me to mod it to make it exactly right. So think about that. You chose to come into this life for this. This is all on purpose. There's no such thing as coincidence, only synchronicity, right? So you found me for a very good reason, right? You know who Felicia Hardy is. Like, not everyone knows who Felicia Hardy is. If I go out in the street of Toronto, people are like, I went out to Samus Aran one time and people were like, are you Spider-Man? I'm like, how no? You're not getting the archetype. So if you are catching the meaning I'm throwing, it's meaning that you were meant to receive it, right? And if you don't receive it, then it wasn't meant for you. And I think we can do a lot more forgiveness with each other when things are like not meant for you, and you're like, that doesn't sound right. Then don't take it. You don't need to take it on. Forget it. It's your life, right? You have all that power to do that, right? So you can choose what you let in to your sacred attention. Okay, was that the rest of my messages for the night? I think I need to go to bed. I do have a piercing. Yes, I have a piercing, and I have like this tattoo I got from a girl who her forte is all like Sailor Moon tattoos, and it's like the Sailor Moon brooch, which is kind of cool. And then I have my hibiscus flowers done by my Cuban tattoo artist, and I have my let's see here, I'll show you guys my wings of Hermes on my winged ankles situation. I'm not gonna show you guys that because TikTok will get mad at me again and they'll restrict me, and then like, you're shadow banned because you're showing too much skin again. I'm like, okay, fine. Okay, my friends. Thank you guys for hanging out. It's been a slice. I will catch all of you guys tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. We're gonna bring back the Phoenix Force, and we're gonna do a little bit more with the Summers family. So like Rachel Summers, Hope Summers, Cable, all that kind of stuff. And I am looking for mods, and I am looking for people doing table reads. So if we all have the same comic book, and like let's say if like if you wanted to cosplay as a dinosaur, and I was a dinosaur, you know what I mean? And then you read your part and I read my part, and we like play along. So, because that's what the universe has been asking me to do a little more of, just a little bit more play. Because you know what? This life is really supposed to be a lot more fun than we have been allowed to be. So, let's turn the earth on. Let's get activated. Let's start playing this game as our highest best self, and things are going to get a lot more sweet. So, I wish you guys good fortune in making all of your dreams come true, as well as I wish you courage in being exactly who you're meant to play in this game of life. It's not always easy to be yourself. So please do that because the universe is counting on you. But no worries, I got your back. Till next time, friends, stay super.